Hello, welcome to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to narrate over the top of this, and so you don't have to put up with my ugly mug on camera. I'm going to post the footage of me taking Zara, the just coming up to 10-year-old female Great Dane, for a walk. All 82 kilos of her. She is enormous, and she is ferociously strong, but thankfully she's easygoing, calm girl, not hard to walk at all. So yeah, you got some scenery while I waffle on at you. I particularly wanted to address, why do I exclusively use a long leash when I'm working with dogs, walking dogs, that's clients' dogs, my own dogs, whatever dogs. I exclusively use this 10-meter long line. I do have an even longer one. I have a 20-meter long line, but I don't really bring that out much. It's got a massive front clip on it. It'd be good for Zara, but she doesn't go that far away from me. It works on my dogs, so yeah, it's got a huge front clip, so any of the shorter leg dogs like the Staffies, it just wouldn't be suitable for. The clip's too big on the front. So why do I exclusively use a long line rather than a 6 foot, 2 meter leash like most people do? The main reason is so it gives the dog the ability to move around more freedom away from me, to go and sniff things, do things. And the reason that I like that is because it gives me a very clear indication of what the dog is thinking about everything going on. So when the dog decides it wants to be 10 meters away from me, you've probably seen that in some of the roadie videos, where he is fairly regularly seen hitting the end of the leash, sometimes slamming into the end of the leash, sometimes just reaching it. That's a message to me. The distance the dog is comfortable being from me at long periods of time, or not thinking about where I am and then hitting the end of a leash all the way away 10 meters, that tells me how much they're thinking about me and how connected they are to me, i.e. it's a commentary on the state of the relationship and a state of how much interest / trust the dog has about me at any one moment in the walk. Now obviously I'm part of controlling that. I can just stand still and do nothing and let the leash go, and usually the dog will just wander off. Zara wouldn't do that. It's extremely rare she will hit 10 meters. She has a stubborn streak. On occasion she has, when it's been time to go home and she doesn't want to, and I'll start walking down her home little cul-de-sac and she wants to go a different way. She will take the full 10 meters in an attempt to say, hey, I don't want to go home yet. And that's part of why I do use the long leash. I want to see what the dog's thinking, and their body language and their decision-making process and the distance they're prepared to go in making comments to me with their bodies is quite informative. For my own dogs, it's informative in that if the dog's not spending the majority of its time within 4 or 5 meters of me, something's wrong. Something's wrong in the relationship with the dog. There are times and places where, yes, of course, they go to the end of the leash. They go sniff stuff and do things, or if they're having a pee and I just keep walking, I can let the leash out behind me and they'll catch up. But I don't use the 20-meter leash on my dogs anymore because it became completely surplus to requirements. Rollo won't generally be any more than 5 meters from me. Now, like I said, there are exceptions to that. They do occasionally venture out further than that. But generally speaking, Rollo just doesn't go that much further from me than about 5 meters. It's rare. Why? Because the best, most important place to be for him is with me, near me. Now, he is a Tibetan Mastiff, and yes, when he's off leash, he will go a lot further away than that, and he's comfortable doing so. But when we're doing neighborhood walks and he's on leash, he wants to be where I am. And so the long line of this size, 10 meters, is actually really too long for Rollo, but Tora it's fine for, and doing things with clients' dogs like this, it works perfectly. Because it shows me what the dog is thinking about me, primarily. If they're thinking of other things, doing other things, don't have a second thought about me, they'll hit the end of the leash. That means the most important thing to them in the moment is not me. It's the environment. It's things they're doing, sniffing, seeing, smelling. And that commentary is important, because my method based on relationship and trust with your dog and mutual understanding only works when you have all of those things in a row. And the dog's most important thing is to be around you, be with you, within a couple of feet, a couple of meters. That's where the dog should want to be, of its own free choice, of its own volition. Don't need to force the dog to be there. And if the dog is not habitually doing that and is not habitually next to you, or is always wanting, or actually hitting the end of the leash, trying to go other places and not caring what you're doing where you are, that is a comment on what's going on in the relationship. So it's no great surprise for me that Rhodey spends a lot of time hitting the end of the leash. You can see with his body language when he's out there and in the environment, it is very exciting to him. It's very interesting. He's not comfortable enough in the environment that is boring to him yet. And this is even the environment just outside the back of his house around the park. He is still so super excited and interested in the smells that he bounces around and hits the end of the leash. Now that's improved significantly since we've been getting him on the treadmill. Now he tends to just walk into the end of the leash. He's not running into the end of the leash. And he does generally, when he hits that, he now stops and he looks back to see where I am. But it's the trigger of hitting the end of the leash which is causing that thought process. It's not actual care for where I am. If he cared for where I am, he'd be doing that before he hit the end of the leash. So that tells me Rhodey is not fully on board with a relationship with me yet. He's too busy doing his own thing, doesn't really care for me. Now he does when he hits the end of the leash, and when we get into difficult situations, like when I took him to the shopping mall, he absolutely cares where I am and what I'm doing, way closer to me the whole time. Didn't want to get out of more than about 3 meters away from me when there were strange people, trolley pushers, cars, all sorts of odd sounds that go on at the entrance to a shopping mall. He did have to lean on me, and he made that choice to trust me. So that was a statement on the relationship there, so I could see that developing. And again, he was on the long line, so I did let him go not too far because there was a road, so I didn't let him just disappear off 10 meters away from me. That wouldn't have been clever. But again, the long line gave me that ability to give him 3 meters before he got to the road, to see where his head's at. Does he just want to run away? Or not really, he didn't. Or does he actually want to come and just lean on me and trust my calmness in that environment to get him through the difficult situation? And the answer eventually was trust. He did go to the end of the leash as far as I was prepared to let him have. I don't think he was trying to run away. He was just trying to investigate the smells and the sounds, various things that are going on. If you'll excuse me a sec, we are going to have both my dogs barking at something. I'll just shift out the way. I'm just letting them in the house. Yeah, hello, Tora. Hello, Rollo. So yeah, that's really the overview of why I use the long line exclusively. I like it because it shows me what the dog is thinking with a free choice element. The dog does not have to think about me if it doesn't want to. It can just keep going. When it hits the end of the leash, it might go, oh yeah, there's someone at the other end of that holding it. What are they doing? But what I want and the goal is to have the dog care where I am to the point where they just want to be where I am. And that is exactly how it is with Rollo. He's usually no more than 3 or 4 meters, 5 meters from me, with occasional excursions out beyond that. But that's only possible because we have the relationship we do, and because he has the freedom to choose. The 2 meter leash, he wouldn't be able to do that. He'd be stuck 2 meters from me, and he may well choose to just be 1 meter from me, but I don't think many dogs would really ever choose to be that close to you if they had the free choice to go a 10 meter radius around you at any moment during the walk. They're going to choose the distance that suits them and suits the relationship they have with you. So that's why. That's a lot of words, I suppose. 8.5 minutes of me talking about why I use the long lines with my dogs and with clients' dogs. But that is the reason. I like what it shows me about what's going on with the dogs and myself. There are times it's not suitable, don't get me wrong. Specifically recently with Rollo, he's had his shoulder injury. He hasn't been on the long line all the time. I have put him on the 2 meter one just so I can keep him from doing anything silly, because he was limping for a while. Hopefully that's better now. Well, I don't think it is, but he's not limping at the moment, but I still don't think we have the underlying cause sorted. But whatever. Anyway, that'll do, I think. There's I think 2 more minutes left of Zara's walk. This is her road ahead of us here, and we just go past this round the back of that silver car. It's just coming up, and we actually do a square pattern and then just go down her road to home. She does have some odd patterns to her walk. She just likes to walk up and down the road in front of her. That's her road there. She just likes to walk up and down the path to our left 3 or 4 times on a walk and then go home and she's done. But like I said, she's just coming up to 10 years old, and for a Great Dane, that's old. She's got arthritis in both shoulders. so she's on medication for that. So she's not a spring chicken anymore. Long walks are not her forte, so she does tend to just stay around home and hang about. But she's a lovely girl, easy to walk. She's a little bit easy to spook. She's not particularly fond of dogs behind fences barking. I mean, she was quite scared of them when I started walking her, but she's kind of gotten over that a bit. But I think that's partly because she doesn't see so well anymore. She's she's got old ailments. She's old. Anyway, she's a lovely girl. She's easy to walk, and I'll carry on doing it. I hope this was an interesting video for you, and I'll bring some more footage out that I haven't ever published before if I have other things to talk about that are more interesting to watch the scenery than look at my face. See you later.